We've decided that we need to do more debates. We're going to have a chat around Erling Braut Haaland. Opening statements, James. I'll go first. The buyout clause. We have owners who are stingy. We have owners who like a bargain. And, no matter what the wage scenario is, 75 million euro for a generational talent is something that surely got to float the boat of our owners and have to pique their interest.
For most owners, it would be smart to go out there, get the probably hottest piece of shit that you can get on the market right now, someone who's scoring goals for fun, getting numbers of some of the best strikers, not only in the current era, but of all time, the Lewandowskis, the Benzemas, the Luis Suarez's. Of course, you are absolutely 100% categorically... There's no flaws in what you've just said. Of course we should be, but will we? And will FSG more specifically? Who are we going to sell for a big player? Because even though 75 million for Haaland is good, brilliant, still a lot of money for FSG, no matter who the player.
We'll agree that 75 million euro is about 62, 63 million pound, and we're all okay with the idea that we might sign Rafinha for 60 million quid. So
absolutely, but Rafinha is a more sort of, the wages aren't going to be as demanding, you're working with completely different agents, there's many more circumstances that comes into these playing fields, which yes, 60 million and 75 million sounds very similar, but then it's the add-on effect, and that's why I brought up the price.
Let's move on to the agent, because I think this is probably the biggest talking point around this deal, is Mino Raiola, and I'm going to make the case of why I think it's about time that we build bridges with Mino Raiola and that we tap in to Mino Raiola's list of clients, those young players, and we need to get this guy on side because they're the type of signings that our owners would love. Now, we might want them to stay at Liverpool more than the 2 years they usually do with Mino Raiola's clients, and yes, he can destabilise at times, but I think we could be able, maybe should be able, James, to put this to bed and get Mino Raiola on side.
Mino Raiola is a proper dickhead, lad. And at the end of the day, as much as he has got some great players at his disposal, doing business with that man is like trying to buy a friggin', I don't know, a packet of Haribos for 10 pence. It's not going to happen. You're paying the whole pound. There's no end of story. Raiola, I agree. It's sometimes good to burn certain bridges and to make sure that, you can do business with these people because it's going to benefit you. It's going to benefit them. What does Haaland want to achieve? He wants to win trophies. He'll be idolised at Liverpool, but then on top of that, he will be leading Liverpool in that charge, especially with Mo Salah. Even though I still think he's comfortably in his prime, Haaland has the potential to do that way beyond Salah, and at the rate he's going, it doesn't look like he's going to be having any slowing down. So absolutely, I think it's a travesty that we're going to be missing out on such a great talent because of the agent, but that's an if but or a maybe, and I don't do them. Raiola just isn't the nicest person to do business with, lad, and when you've got someone who doesn't want to do business the way you want to do business, it's going to cause crossroads, so it's a big barrier that you can't ignore.
So I'm FSG, I'm Jurgen Klopp, and I'm Julian Ward, and I'm sitting down looking at the transfer landscape in the summer. I'm looking around the Premier League and I'm worried. Who needs a striker? Chelsea, probably okay with Lukaku. United, can they bring somebody else in there, having signed Ronaldo? Potentially. Would he go there with the situation? Maybe not. I'm going to say that if there's an opportunity to stop him going to Manchester City, and it's not just out of hatred, I think this could kill two birds with one stone. We could stop him going to City, which is a frightening prospect, mate. It is a very frightening prospect.
100%.
And bring him to Liverpool and make a statement about the club.
Well, people don't forget as well, the likelihood of him going to City is very, very real because his dad played for City. They've never won a Champions League. Haaland seems like someone who wants to break little mini records like that. So, in his own way, with how good he is in the Champions League and with the fact City needs a goal scorer in the Champions League, literally, there's no one else at that age who's as devastating, and that's the word that comes to mind, well and truly devastating in front of the goal. He makes the net fear him shooting. It's that bad. He bodies people, even Virgil van Dijk was saying, it's a tough game against Erling Haaland because he's so physically imposing. So again, do I want to see the rivals go ahead and take that player? Absolutely not. Because even though we're winning trophies right now, Man City's style, and yes, it's because of money, but it's still there. They are guaranteed to win trophies, there and thereabouts. They're guaranteed to win Premier Leagues and stuff like that, regardless. So Haaland knows he can come here, pick up a few league titles, maybe win a Champions League or 2 Champions Leagues along the way, and then he can go to wherever his next stop is. Mino Raiola is also going to know that, and he knows that if he works with Liverpool, he's probably not going to get the right amount of business made as what he will for Man City. As I've mentioned, there's history, there's
History
ambition
with
to want to.
Pep as well. Over Zlatan, they didn't get on.
Oh, of course. Maybe the ego would be a bit too much. I don't know. I think if anyone's going to make Haaland look like the best version of Haaland, it's probably going to be Pep Guardiola.
He's big on vibes. We know this. He's a passion merchant. Although he can be a bit calm at times, his demeanour, he explodes when he comes into life. He plays in front of the yellow wall. He played for Salzburg in front of a very vociferous crowd as well. And I'm saying he would absolutely thrive off the atmosphere, the intimidation factor that is Anfield, and the manager that we have at the club, who is the biggest passion merchant out there as well. He's not going to want that. He's not going to look at the Etihad and go, oh, really?
But then he's also going to be thinking Jurgen Klopp's leaving in 2024. I don't think he is just a money-grabbing player. I do believe he wants to go and win, but that's why I think he'd join Man City. You've got to look at this from perspective. So his agent's perspective, and even Haaland's. You know, when you're thinking in their shoes, what would be the better choice right now in terms of guaranteed trophies, money, and everything else that would convince you to join a club? I think Man City have got all the marbles and more, that all the cards and more that we just don't have. Would a sensible owner in their right mind go ahead and see what Haaland has achieved over the seasons? Even when he was at Salzburg, he was scoring Champions League goals on a regular, and pay 75 million for such an asset. Not just a great player, an asset. He is going to be a superstar. Yes, they would, but we haven't got that. Would we, or should we, work with people like Mino Raiola, who, yes, they might not always do the most business savvy, he's very much his players first, for sure. But do you do business with them when you've got owners like the way FSG do? Because we know that Haaland's going to be asking for a lot of money. And then finally, when you look at the competitors that we have to compete with to go ahead and get such striker in Manchester City, more cards are in their favour than what they're in ours.
He could have went anywhere in the world when he was leaving Salzburg. He shocked quite a few people by going to Dortmund. We've seen that it was the right career move at the right time. He isn't a 27, 28, 29-year-old striker. He could come and do 4 or 5 years at Liverpool and win the Premier League and win the Champions League, and then maybe head off to Spain if that's his wish. He loves a curveball. I think he'd love playing under Jurgen Klopp. This would be something that he would do to shock the world and to show that he isn't just about the money, that he isn't just about that, he's about vibes, doing things in the right way. The inside of me would be on your side of this, but I had to try and come up with aside for the positive, aside for the signing of Erling Haaland at Liverpool.
I genuinely thought I was going to be able to shut you out within 2 or 3 minutes and you wouldn't have any more points to make. So I just want to congratulate you. Whether the comments think you won or you lost, I want to congratulate you for getting to this point of the video, because you've done great. You've done a better job than I would. That was like defending a murderer who's being caught with blood on his hands. That's literally what you've just done, and you've done a great job.
Maybe I'm in the wrong career. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong career, James.
Maybe.
As always, sir, it's been a pleasure. And this time, I had to play devil's avocado.